Here's Francisco. Please do not watch this video. You're not allowed to watch this video. The content is personal and private and you're not allowed to watch it. You can only watch this video if I gave you my personal permission first. Otherwise, please stop watching the video right now. My sailors, welcome. I'm gonna do some thoughts here. Please, I apologize in advance in case my thoughts disturb. That's obviously not the objective. In case of finding errors in the video, I would ask you to please let me know about them. There might be details in the description below this video. Please make sure you read them before you read those details before watching further parts of this video. And yeah, I'll put here to subscribe in case you haven't done that yet. Right, I wanted to talk a little bit about the independence of Catalonia. Okay, I mean, today is the 1st of October 2017. It's the day started just right now. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, or almost 2 o'clock. And yeah, I had some notes here. I noted down some things, and I've done lots of videos first in Spanish, but I wanted to do a little one in English. It might get a little bit long, but I just wanted to give these thoughts. I think I really should put them out there and share them with my sailors, with you, my sailors. First of all, I wanted to start with Julian Assange. Julian Assange. This was the guy of the WikiLeaks. I've read a tweet about him. He said, the Spanish people, the Catalan people have the right to self-determination. Or Spain, you cannot stop this, the referendum of the independence of Catalonia. That's what I'm talking about here in this video, the independence of Catalonia. And Julian Assange put a tweet. I'll try to put the tweet right here. And he showed the Tiananmen, the thing in China with the tanks and the guy standing up there, you know, and it really bothered me. It really bothered me. I mean, it's really disappointing, you know, because Julian Assange, I mean, I thought of him as a brave man for many years, since 2009 approximately, when he did all this stuff of WikiLeaks. Obviously very controversial stuff, but nonetheless, the guy was brave and he has some principles, a man of principle, and that's admirable to some extent. So it wasn't like I really admire him immensely, but I had some kind of admiration for him since 2009 until he opened his mouth about the independence of Catalonia. And it's not that he has opinions that I don't like, it's just that he shows raw ignorance. Like I was, like many people is, you need to get informed about stuff before you open your mouth and start talking about it. I mean, so I'll try to talk a little bit of the things, why it bothered me so much. I mean, because as I say, it bothered me because it revealed pure ignorance, and I'll try to share some light, to throw some light at it to make things a little bit more clear, right? I mean, so the idea of Julian Assange, it shows like the state, the Spanish state, is oppressing the Catalan people or something like that. It sounded like that. Like here we have a Catalan people and the Spanish state that doesn't allow them to be free or something like that, and doesn't allow them to have self-determination, or kind of, that's the picture, you know, like a state versus Catalan people. And it's so wrong at so many levels. So wrong. That image is so distorted, so not real. And I wanted to start to talk a little bit about those things and make some points, some things that people just don't know, and they assume incorrectly wrong ideas. And based on those wrong assumptions, they start to build the wrong idea. So let's cut to the chase here. Let's start meddling with the stuff to see what's going on. So the Catalan people. What people? What Catalan people? What is the Catalan people? So that should be the first question. What is the Catalan people? If you investigate a little bit the topic, you'll find very quickly that there's not such thing really as Catalan people. I mean, the most popular surname of the Catalan, the people living in Catalonia, let's say the Catalan people should be maybe the people living in Catalonia. The most popular surname is García, and the most popular surname in Spain is García. Okay, I mean, Barcelona and all the metropolitan area of Barcelona is essentially migrated population from the rest of Spain, inland Spain. Okay, so many people came from Castilla, both Castilias or maybe Andalusia in the south, okay, or Extremadura, other regions of Spain, to Barcelona, and they built up the region of metropolitan area of Barcelona, which has all the industry, a lot of industry in Spain is located in this region. And you know, you have even the football club, the football team Real Club Deportivo Español de Barcelona, Royal football team from Spain in Barcelona. So, I mean, it's so part of Spain, Barcelona, and the metropolitan area of the Barcelona, which, by the way, concentrates most, if not 90 something percent of the wealth of Catalonia. It's purely a Spanish product built by Spaniards, and in Spain, and from the history also protected industrially for the development of the industry of Barcelona and the metropolitan area. So it's so, the immigrants, the labor force, and everything is just so Spaniard. And so if you have to say what is the Catalan people, I mean, you need to know a little bit about this history. You need to understand this thing. As of today, maybe the most accurate definition for the Catalan people would be the people who are promoting the independence of Catalonia. Okay, but that would be like 50%, roughly, very, very roughly. Actually, probably much less than 50% of the population living in Catalonia. Man, that's a very big stretch. I mean, if you think that the Catalan people is all of Catalonia, you're very, very wrong. It's at least, it's at most 50%, probably much less, which would be the people for the independence of Catalonia. Okay, so that's very, very important. I mean, the Catalan people have the right for self-determination. So that will be the first point. What is the Catalan people? Okay, and the most accurate definition would be a definition that includes only 50% of the population of Catalonia, if not less. So that's a very important point to be made, first of all. Secondly, Barcelona is actually not for independence. That's a very important point I want to stress. It's a rural phenomena. A phenomena rural from the countryside. It's a phenomena. The independence movement of Catalonia is a movement from the countryside, essentially from the countryside. I mean, there was this news in the newspaper in El País, the most popular newspaper in Spain, which said I'll try to write here the title of the news. Excuse me. And it said like 7 out of 10 of the biggest cities in Catalonia, they're all against the referendum, doing the referendum for the independence of Catalonia. Okay, so that's very important because you need to know that the Catalan independence movement is essentially a movement from the countryside, not from the cities. It needs to be known. It needs to be known because there's also in the Catalan politics, they did like this joint force between the political parties. That was in 2015, September 27, September 2015. They hijacked the government of Catalonia and the main political parties. They hijacked well, I think it was only the Generalitat de Catalunya, which is the autonomous government of Catalonia. They hijacked these regional elections for the autonomous government of Catalonia, and they transformed it into a form of referendum, kind of a referendum. So they created this joint union of parties, coalition of parties, which was for the yes, which was together for the yes. That was how they called it, Junts pel Sí, together for the yes. And they created this coalition of parties, which was for the independence of Catalonia. So they tried to measure this way the population, the popularity of the independence movement in Catalonia. That was the regional elections of 2015, September 27. Junts pel Sí, this coalition didn't even get 50% of the votes. Okay, they finally joined with radical lefts, the CUP, the small CUP, that's written CUP, I'll write it here, a very radical left wing party. They had to join with them to get over the 50% in parliament, in the Catalan parliament. Anyway, long story short, the point I'm trying to get at is that in Catalonia there is the ley don't. This I'm sorry about this, very messy. I'm not very structured, but I'll finally make a point. I'll finally come to a point here. Ley don't. There's the ley don't, which is a law that makes that regional countryside votes count much more than votes in the city. Okay, so sometimes votes in the countryside count like 3 or even 4 times more than a vote in the city, in a big city. So this is all very important. Okay, you need to know that the weight, the political weight in the Catalan parliament of the independence movement is exaggerated through this way of the ley d'hondt, how the parliament, how the electorate system works in Catalonia. So what I'm trying to say here is that from all the people living in Catalonia, for independence, they are it's clearly a minority, the loud minority. So you have, they make a lot of noise, noisy minority. They make a lot of noise in the streets with independence flags, and they create like this fashion. You know, they even hijacked 11 September, which is the national day of the Catalans. Okay, but of all Catalans, they hijacked it, and now it's become the national day of the Catalans that are for the independence of Catalonia. Okay, so it's like a fashion that it's grown, and it's also incentivized from the government of Catalonia through the media. Obviously, through the media, they've invested heavily in media, political content, and they've subsidized heavily also programs, and through schools they have the control of schools. So through the schools they're kind of indoctrinating, you know, changing history, and they're doing it for many years. Okay, so these are just a couple of things that are very important to be known about the topic. I mean, like I said, let me just back up for a second. I mean, the Catalan people, okay, so it's just divided. There's two peoples, if anything, okay, and the independence movement is much smaller than it's portrayed in the media. So these things are very important. And in Barcelona, I mean, it's just like the idea that's being transmitted from the independence movement is like, Catalan people are very advanced people. They created Barcelona, and there is a super advanced city. And here's the bad guy, which is the government and is the state, the Spanish state, and they're trying to oppress the Catalan people, which are very great people, and they're the best people. And they create Barcelona with the Barcelona football team, and they're great Catalans, but they're being held back by an evil state, Spanish state. You know, that's the picture, and that's the wrong picture, obviously, because of everything I'm trying to explain here. Okay, the first this is very important. The first thing that stops the Catalan people of being independent is the other half of the Catalan people. I mean, that needs to be, it's not the Spanish government the enemy. If anything, it's the Spanish people, because the Spanish government is acting in the interest of all Spanish people. Okay, so the Spanish government is not the evil state, because they are acting in the interest of the Spanish people. Worth noting, okay? I mean, just not change the roles of who's the villain and who's the victim, okay? We're swapping the roles here. That's the problem. That's why it frustrates me so much, you know? Spanish government is acting in the interest of the Spanish people. The autonomous government of Catalonia is like creating its own people, which is half of the population, if that, probably less, like I say, of the population of Catalonia, because they are through indoctrination for many years, and not just that, not just indoctrination, but also through I'd say also subsidizing, you know, because they subsidize and creating this fashion which is like tyrannic, almost like, you know, because people get afraid of these things, you know, people get scared and people get intimidated, you know, if the day of the Catalan people, that is, all the Catalans, okay, so saying the Catalan people now, I mean all people living in Catalonia. I mean, it builds up social pressure. It really builds up social pressure. This fashion builds up social pressure, because they have this flag for independence of Catalonia, and they're wearing it all day long in the streets. And in 11 September, the day of celebration of Catalonia, they're wearing these flags, and people are intimidated, and they're afraid of carrying the Spanish flag, you know, because it's like confrontation. So it really creates like these dynamics, these social dynamics, which is like a fashion, and people really get intimidated. So it's a very loud minority about the independence of Catalonia. And some might say, hey, how do we know it's a minority? Why don't we just do a referendum? And many people reason like that. They argue this point, and they say, hey, let's do a referendum to really know if they're a minority or not a minority, or how big is the... But there's a problem with this. This actually happened in Quebec, in Canada. Apparently, they do after that a political use, because it creates like a previous example. You know, it sets an example. It sets a first case. It sets a previous case, so to speak. So now in Quebec they say, hey, like we just as we did a referendum some time ago, we want to do a referendum again. Okay, so that's the problem. That's the real reason why the Spanish government doesn't like the idea of doing a referendum. The main idea. There's another idea which is also very important, why the Spanish government doesn't want to do the referendum. But that's a very important one, because it will be politically used after that. So they will make a political use from the referendum and say, hey, we did a referendum in the past, we want to do it again. And you cannot say we're going to do it now because we did it in the past. So it has happened already. So it's created the dynamic of the possibility of doing such a thing. Okay, so Carles Puigdemont and all the Artur and all these guys, which they say they're very Democrats. To me personally, they're closer to fascism than to democracy. To me personally, many people would also argue that probably. But they claim that they just want to do a referendum very innocently, but they don't really want to win it. I mean, they just want to do it to create this first experience, so to speak, so that in the future they can do it again, the referendum, arguing that, hey, we did it in the past and we want to do it again. And this becomes the never-endum, you know, referendum this year, referendum in 3 years again, referendum 3 years again, referendum after 3 years, always no, 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 until you get a yes, okay? And then you declare independence of Catalonia. Okay, so it's the never-endum, and never-endum. So you do one referendum, another referendum, another referendum, referendums forever until you get the answer you want. No, then it's all over, so to speak. Okay, so this is the movement. Independence of Catalonia is a top-down movement. Okay, it's from the government in Catalonia, and it moves down to the people. Okay, so it's not from the people upwards; it's from the government created to the people. So it's more like a bureaucratic expansion of the public administration. Okay, so this is really, really important stuff that people need to know about the independence of Catalonia. This movement, it comes from the government of Catalonia, which through many years has been pushing this agenda, so it's really stuff that needs to be taken into account, because as I was saying, the Spanish government is acting in the interest of the Spanish people. That's what so the villain, if there's any villain, it has to be the autonomous government of Catalonia, because they're acting against the interest of all the Spanish people. And they say in the name of democracy they want to change something that affects all Spaniards without asking them. Okay, because the independence of Catalonia affects all Spaniards, but they don't want to ask all Spaniards. They only want to do a referendum in Catalonia. You see, it's a partial referendum. It only shows half of the story, a little bit of the story. Okay, so it's like the saying of half a truth is a complete lie. So that's what the government of Catalonia wants to do. Half a truth. I want to do a referendum about the independence of Catalonia only in Catalonia. It affects all Spaniards, but I'm not going to ask all Spaniards. I'm only doing it in Catalonia. Okay, and they claim themselves to be Democrats. Okay, you see Raül Romeva always saying, we're Democrats, voting is for democracy, we're very Democrats, we're all for democracy, we're in love with democracy, we love democracy, we love democracy, all day long, democracy. Artur, ex-president of the government of Catalonia, he also said that a lot. Democracy, we're Democrats, we're real Democrats, we're very good Democrats, we're for democracy, all day long. It reminds me to those countries that have democracy in the name. They're usually the less democratic countries in the world, you know? I don't know, maybe the Eastern Germany Democratic Republic of Eastern Germany, I don't know, but wherever a country has the word democracy in its name, it's never good. It's usually not good. Okay, so here happens a little bit the same. Okay, so the autonomous government of Catalonia is promoting the independence of Catalonia, and it's actually the only agenda they have. You know, if you track back the last months, this whole 2017, Carles Puigdemont, who talks a lot about democracy, but he was never chosen by anybody in Catalonia. He was appointed by finger from Artur Mas and his colleagues. Okay, so he's the president of Catalonia. He was appointed by finger, never chosen by the any Catalan whatsoever. He didn't came from democracy. He's not a product from democracy. He was just chosen and put there in place. He's teaching everybody about democracy. He has no idea. Who is he to talk about democracy? A very dubious professional background. I mean, I haven't checked it myself, but to my knowledge, he has almost no professional career whatsoever. It's just pure political fanatism and ideology, not a professional in any way. And he's complaining always about the Spanish government not being democratic. Now we know why he obviously doesn't want to show up as a candidate for the president of Catalonia again. Okay, because he was never chosen, and probably that would prove the reality why he. Okay. Okay, so they say they're very democratic, but here is the autonomous government of Catalonia trying to impose on the Spanish people something that affects them without asking them. Okay, and the Spanish government is actually acting in the interest of the Spanish people. Okay, so let's see who is the villain. Okay, and this is very important stuff. Okay, I mean, it tracks back to the Julian Assange thing. I mean, this should be taken into account. Okay, I mean, the picture of Catalan people of being chased by the Spanish government, who is very undemocratic and all blah blah blah, and it's all just a lie. Okay, it's all just a lie. It's the wrong picture. Some people need to get informed about stuff before, okay, because otherwise you start to build up this wrong idea. Okay, so anyway, Carles Puigdemont, president of the government of Catalonia, in my opinion, he should go to prison. Very clearly, I'll say that. He's been, I mean, exactly why? I wouldn't know what to say. I mean, but what he's done, he's divided the society in Catalonia. He's created this illegal referendum. It's declared illegal. Maybe it's right or wrong to declare a referendum illegal. I don't know. But in any case, it's declared illegal. And his only agenda is this political idea of creating this division, you know, like Artur Mas. He all should go to prison, in my opinion. Because they're creating so much disturbance in Spain. I mean, obviously you cannot get into prison people just because of this, but for whatever reason, I mean, he probably has many reasons why these guys should go to prison. Okay, but I'm just being emotional here. I'm just explaining the emotions as a Spaniard. Okay, how I feel about these people of the government of Catalonia. For me personally, closer to fascism, okay, than to any kind of form that you could imagine or associate with democracy. Carles Puigdemont, Artur Mas. So President Carles Puigdemont nowadays, Artur Mas past president, Jordi Pujol, all these guys to do a lot with corruption. Carles Puigdemont, to my knowledge, is not the case, but Artur Mas has a lot to do with corruption. Jordi Pujol as well. I mean, just find out. Artur Mas, CASO Palau de la Música, Music Palace of Barcelona, or the 3% case of the 3%. I think they overcharge for public buildings that they built in Catalonia, 3%, and they pocketed all this money. To my knowledge, it was something like this. And sorry. So the guys are really mixed with corruption. Jordi Pujol, lots of money in Andorra, the country, a small country between France and Spain. So Artur Mas, Raül Romeva, Oriol Junqueras, all these guys are really behind this idea of the independence of Catalonia. They've been I mean, I don't know, they went, for example, to Harvard University in the United States to talk down Spain, criticize Spain. They spent like 88,000 euros, which is more than $100,000 approximately at today's change, just to talk bad about Spain and criticize Spain. I mean, come on. I mean, this is the autonomous government of Catalonia, and that's what they're doing. Okay? I mean, instead of taking care about do what they're supposed to do, you know, to serve, be public servants, and to okay, instead of doing all this, they start to do this program about the independence of Catalonia. They create an embassy about Catalonia, you know, a foreign embassy of Catalonia, which, by the way, the sister of Pep Guardiola, a football player from Barcelona, ex-football player, and she earns like 100,000 euros brutto every year, I believe, as salary. 100,000 euros as a worker in the embassy of Catalonia, I believe in Denmark. I mean, come on. I mean, come on. And what's the wage of Carles Puigdemont, president of Catalonia? 170,000 euros approximately per year, brutto every year. 170,000 euros? That's almost like $200,000 every year. Okay, Artur was $144,000 every year. Okay, I mean, the money, it's more about corruption. It's more about good wages for politicians, you know. It's more about politicians. That's what the independence movement of Catalonia is about. It's about government. It's about all good for the autonomous government of Catalonia. It's about hijacking and stealing, you know, white-collar theft through voting and through democracy. They want to steal from all Spaniards a piece of territory of the country. That's what the Catalonia movement is all about, really. Okay, that's what it's about. It's about good for the workers. I mean, the people in charge of the autonomous government of Catalonia, which, like I say, they're deeply related with corruption. Jordi Pujol and his family, with all the money in Andorra. Okay, I mean, please investigate about all this. Investigate about this. Luxury cars of Jordi Pujol family, a hotel, I believe he owns a hotel in Argentina or something, properties, millions of euros in Switzerland and in Andorra. I mean, come on. I mean, it's just so much to do with corruption and political appointment, you know, like Carles Puigdemont. You're a friend, you're fanatic, you have no professional career, but that doesn't matter. You're just a fanatic for independence, so you'll be the president, chosen, appointed by finger. I mean, come on. It's all good for the Catalan government. It's a bureaucratic expansion, almost like the style of the Soviet Union, you know, bureaucratic expansionism, and it's a territorial dispute with the government of Spain, which is acting in the interest of the Spanish people, of all Spaniards. Okay, so the Spanish government is acting in the democratically acting in the interest of the people. The autonomous government of Catalonia is top-down promoting this agenda of independence of Catalonia, you know, investing all its efforts, subsidizing media, subsidizing programs in favor of the independence of Catalonia, and through bureaucratic expansionism, promoting this idea, also offering hope, you know. I mean, that's probably the most legitimate component of the independence of Catalonia, that doesn't come from the top to down, to the people, from the government to the people. It's probably this idea of hope, you know, hope for change, for good change. People have believed this idea, the government has been selling this idea, and if there's any legitimate base to the independence of Catalonia movement, is the idea that people believe that everything will be more prosperous in Catalonia if they become independent. Something like that. Which, like I say, still has somewhat its roots back in the top of the autonomous government of Catalonia. Because Artur Mas, from president of Catalonia, was saying constantly an independent Catalonia would be like the Denmark of Southern Europe, or something like that, you know, always doing this kind of comparisons. Oh, like Austria, or we would be like Denmark, or we would be, you know, always, or Belgium, or, you know, it's like a more GDP per capita country, you know, and that's basically it. That's basically some things about the independence of Catalonia that you don't usually hear. Okay, you don't usually hear. Like, for example, that Barcelona was actually more advanced city than Madrid. In the past, I don't know exactly when, maybe in the 70s, 80s, 90s maybe as well. But nowadays it's more like the other way around. I mean, these people, this political class have actually synced Catalonia. They've literally put it down. Really hurted Catalonia from an economic point of view, from a social development point of view. I mean, Barcelona, you could feel. I mean, this I don't know from my personal experience, but I've heard from people. They say Barcelona was like the most advanced or cultural developed city of Spain a couple of decades ago. Nowadays, it's the other way around. Madrid, you move from Barcelona to Madrid and you're coming into the most developed city of Spain, actually. Okay. And part of it, to my knowledge, has to do with the autonomous government of Catalonia, which has been pursuing this idea of independence, creating division in Catalonia, creating tensions, creating conflicts. You know, I don't know why Artur Mas was invited to, I believe, in London to a conference about how to solve conflicts or something like that. I mean, this guy doesn't solve any conflict. This guy creates conflicts. I mean, it's really incredible. Apart of being a corrupt politician, Artur Mas, there you go. Like I say, Artur Mas, Carles Puigdemont, Jordi Pujol, Raül Romeva, Oriol Junqueras, okay? To my knowledge, these guys should all go to prison. Why exactly? We could debate a lot about that, but grossly speaking, just because they've created so much harm in Spain to all the people in Spain. I mean, this idea of independence, because like I say, is not the problem in Spain, is not so much probably about independence, but it's about stealing a part of the country to everybody without letting us have a say on it. I mean, so stealing, so that's why it's stealing, because you don't give us a say about it, okay? So you say you're being a Democrat. There you go. It's this white collar theft. Carles Puigdemont, Artur Mas, Jordi Pujol, Raül Romeva, Oriol Junqueras, to my knowledge, white collar thieves. That's what they are, and that's what they're promoting. The Generalitat of Catalonia, closer to fascism than to democracy, my opinion. Promoting this idea to steal a territory and to benefit themselves as a political class of Catalonia, because obviously in an independent Catalonia, it's not really about the people. They say it's about the people, obviously, that's how they sell it. But it's about the political class, which become even more powerful, and they would become even more dominant. They would have complete control of Catalonia. Okay, so it's about the political class, a bureaucratic expansion, and the political class trying to confront the Spanish government, which is acting in the interest of the Spanish people, trying to retain the territory to Spain. So basically, that's my point of view, based on lots of information I've been reading about, okay? The independence of Catalonia, news constantly, and many thoughts I've given it. I've done videos in Spanish. If you can speak Spanish or you understand Spanish, I would really encourage you to have a look at those. And yeah, there you go. I mean, these were just a couple of points I wanted to share, okay, about the independence of Catalonia, because it's just so darn wrong. The common idea that people get, you know, the Spanish government is stopping the deeply advanced society of Catalonia of pursuing prosperity, you know, the Spanish evil government, haha, there you go. And probably that's what Julian Assange understood, and that's why he tweets like, the Catalan people have the right to self-determination. Hey, who's the evil in this story? The Catalan government is acting in the interest of the Spanish people. The autonomous government of Catalonia is creating division, especially among Catalans, creating division, potentially conflict, potentially even a civil war. I mean, today's 1 October 2017, lots of police there in Catalonia. It's really tension, lots of tension in the streets. Maybe conflict arises. Carles Puigdemont, Artur Mas, Jordi Pujol, Raül Romeva, Oriol Junqueras, please. Some of these guys, at least some of these guys, should really go to prison. It's not acceptable what they've done to society. Why exactly? Like I say, many of these guys probably have many reasons why they actually should be in prison. But at least there's one reason: the harm they've done to society. This corrupt political class, this pathetic, worthless, deeply well-paid political class, that they're only pursuing what's good for them. Nothing about the people, and lying, and in the name of democracy, They're doing all this harm to society and being deeply undemocratic. It's just incredible. It's just incredible. Carles Puigdemont, Artur Mas, Jordi Pujol, Raül Romeva, Oriol Junqueras, BAM! It's just horrible. It's just horrible to watch. Okay? It's just unacceptable. And they do it in the name of democracy. And with the money, public money, they go around the world doing conferences, you know, trying to sell independence, sell the independence movement of Catalonia. Hey, we're the good guys. They go to the United Nations. Hey, and United Nations answers them, hey, the self-determination thing is for countries that are occupied, are colonies, etc. You know, poor countries, colonized, militarily occupied countries, you know, United Nations, that's what they say. But there you go, with 170,000 euros a year salary for Carles Puigdemont, maybe they have a little bit of a problem, no? Explaining that they're a colony, huh? Maybe that's a problem, eh? There you go. It's just incredible. It's just incredible. Okay? It's just a white-collar coup, actually. That's what they're doing. White-collar coup. I mean, not all coups are military. You know, not all coups are necessarily military. With a tank, they go into the building and they take the government out and they say, hey, now we rule. We're military, the military, and we rule. Not necessarily. I mean, they're white-collar coups. I mean, from a jurisdictional point of view, from a legal point of view, it can be done also like that. So that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. I don't know who exactly of these guys. I think all of them have played their roles. Carles Puigdemont, Artur Mas, Jordi Pujol, Raül Romeva, Oriol Junqueras. I don't know who exactly is what to blame for exactly and how and the details exactly, but it's just incredible. The white-collar coup, the white-collar theft that's going on in Spain through the autonomous government of Catalonia, which is totally acting in a despotic way, in a deeply undemocratic way, and they do it in the name of democracy, of course. You can hear Raül Romeva at the BBC. He talked to the BBC with a great interviewer from the BBC who asked him questions, tough questions, and you could see he laughed about corruption. The Catalan corruption. Raül Romeva in the BBC interview, you know. Yeah, we're hijacking some regional autonomous for the autonomous government elections, regional elections for the autonomous government of Catalonia. Yeah, we're hijacking them and doing a referendum instead. Yeah, corruption in the Catalan government. I don't care. We're obsessed with democracy. We love democracy. Asking the people is, you know, in fascism, in fascist regimes, to my knowledge, there were also referendums, and they could also vote sometimes. I believe that in the past, dictatorial regimes or fascist regimes, they've done also referendums, to my knowledge, and they've done voting. This vague idea of just voting, everything can be voted, and we have right to decide. Right to decide what? Right to decide what? I mean, does the Catalan people have the right to decide for all Spaniards? Right to decide what? No, we have right to decide. Voting cannot be illegal. Everybody should vote about whatever. I mean, come on. Hey, not about whatever. I mean, there are some things that maybe they're not right. How about if we all vote that we're going to take your car? Can we vote that? Can we vote that we're going to take your house? Can we all vote that we were taking your house, neighbor's house? Okay? I mean, finally, the Catalonia does not belong to the Catalan people. Catalonia belongs to all the Spaniard people, just like all of Spain belongs to all Spaniards, including the Catalans. That's also worth noting. Okay, Catalan territory does not belong. It's about territory, not necessarily about self-determination. It's about stealing a part of the country. Okay, so these really important points that need to, and the Constitution. There's a constitution that's also worth noting. It's not because people compare it with Scotland, for example, but in the case of Spain, there's a constitution, and this constitution, by the way, was strongly approved in Catalonia. That's also worth noting. Okay, no, Artur Mas says no, it's legal but not legitimate. You know, because nowadays a lot of people protest in the streets. People complain in the street. 1 million people complaining in the street of Barcelona. That means that the Spanish constitution is legal but not legitimate. Wait a minute. There's good weather in Catalonia. There's good weather in Spain. There's good weather in Barcelona. And there are lots of people that are not working. Okay? There's a lot of people, ninis, Neither they work, neither they study. You know, ninis, the famous ninis. Neither they work, neither they study. They don't study and they don't work. The people just living from social helps or their parents giving them some money. There's good weather in Spain. You don't need heating to survive. They let you an apartment. You can live in Spain very easily without a lot of money. There are a lot of people like that. They just go to the street and they celebrate. I mean, come on, that's also worth noting. The Constitution of Spain is not legitimate anymore in Catalonia. That's what Artur says. He travels around the world with public money, obviously, not with money of his pocket. Public money, and they use the money of the people to say all these things around the world. I mean, what are you doing, man? That's not your job. You're not there to create a nation. Nations are not created by voting. Nations are not created by voting. But Artur Mas, he's a Spanish professional, and there you go, what he's doing. Or Catalan professional, and there you go, what he's doing. When he was president of the autonomous government of Catalonia, his job was not to create a nation. We're going to create a new nation. Un país no. Volem un país no. We want a new country. We want a new nation. It's not his job. That was not his job. His job was to do public services, you know, beds for the hospitals, more buses, more public transport, improved public transport, improved public services. That was his job. But, you know, maybe that's not so exciting. You will not get a bath in the many people, you know, in the crowds. You will not get a bath in the crowds of people by just improving public safety or putting more toilets in the hospitals, you know. No, he wants to create a good new nation, okay, and then he can swim in the bath of the crowds with flags of the independence of Catalonia. You know, it's more exciting, more passionate, more cool, you know, it's more fun, and as if his 144,000 euros a year wage, brutto year wage, wasn't enough, man. I mean, come on. Such a corrupt political class, such an incompetent political class, that far from just being incompetent, they're actually harming so deeply, not just Spain, but particularly Catalonia, creating this confrontation between the Catalans by promoting this idea of independence. And they've really created within families in Catalonia. Within families in Catalonia, there's tensions built. God knows what happens now, 1st October 2017. Today, I mean, now it's now like 2:40 in the morning, but in a few hours they'll start opening the schools, okay? I mean, come on. It's just incredible. It's just incredible. I mean, for me personally, I'd like to see them in prison. Carles Puigdemont, Artur Mas, Jordi Pujol, Raül Romeva, Oriol Junqueras, at least some of these guys, they've done so much harm to Spain, to the Spanish people. They've created so much harm, so much uncomfort, so much tension in the Catalan people. I mean the Catalan people now, all the people living in Catalonia. Within families, all this tension. I mean, actually not seeing them in prison, but I really wish they'd never done all this stuff. But now they've done it. I really wish them good luck in prison. I mean, that where they really should be. These fake Democrats. What Democrats? What Democrats? In the name of democracy. Raül Romeva, Democrats, voting is democracy, we're all about democracy, it cannot be illegal to vote everything, people need to speak, everybody, vote, democracy, people need to speak, yeah, but you're trying to create this half-truth, and a half-truth is a complete lie. You're trying to shut up the mouth of the rest of Spain, you're trying to impose a political decision that would deeply affect all Spaniards by just asking one part of the country. You're just shutting the mouth of the rest of the country. If you're gonna do a referendum, do it right in all of Spain. But you just do it in Catalonia. You want to tell a very specific half-truth which will serve to your very specific political agenda of the autonomous government of Catalonia, which has more to do with fascism than democracy, and about political corruption and political bureaucratic expansionism for you, the political class, corrupt political class, to get more privileges at the expense of not just the Catalan people, meaning independent people and not for independence, but also the rest of Spain, who lose a part of the country. Man, it is just so wrong. That is just so wrong, the independence movement of Catalonia. So undemocratic, so unfair. For me personally, more to do with criminals than anything noble, any noble cause. Democracy, freedom of the people, freedom of expression. Let the people vote. It's just pathetic. It's just pathetic to watch. Somebody had to put these ideas. I mean, man, I really wanted to share them with you, my lovely sailors. But anyway, I'm finishing my thoughts here. I'm really extending my video, but I just wanted to get it out, okay? Julian Assange, please get informed, dude. Get informed about this, okay? I mean, you cannot just lose people that admire you so easily just by not getting informed and starting to do tweets, crazy tweets that without any knowledge. I mean, come on. Anyway, guys, my sailors, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I'll ask you to give it a good thumbs up. I'll ask you to subscribe if you haven't done that yet. I'll ask you also to share it among our other sailors so that they know more about it. You can post a comment, but please always with respect and nice comments. Nice comments. There you go. Yeah, they gotta be nice. But with respect, always with respect to me and the rules and everybody else, okay? Also, you could do a donation, libertadideas.com. That's libertadideas.com. That means freedom of ideas in Spanish, libertadideas.com. You can go there and there should be a link to donation. And anyway, if you enjoyed the video, if you liked it or not, thank you very much. Whether you liked it or not, thanks a lot for being there. Thanks for watching the video, and I'd love to see you in the next video. Bye bye.